Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are that you're watching this. Welcome again to Wagtown Wednesday, where we have 52 weeks of making a difference, where we inspire you, we educate you, we expose you to different cool things that are happening in the dog and pet space so that you can become a better dog parent, a better humane organization, supporter, really get involved in what dogs can do to impact the community, whether it be your own dog or dogs all around you in the region that you live. So really cool ways to get involved with different people. And so I wanted to introduce you to someone who's really kicking butt in that capacity of entrepreneurialism, stick with it. And now she's achieved this amazing success. So we're going to talk to her in just one second. But I wanted to talk to you about something that I'm working on that I could really use your help with. So in Dayton and the Montgomery County area, there's a Convention and Visitors Bureau guide, and it shows you all the cool things you can do in Dayton, where you can go to eat, the arts, all those kinds of things. So a few years ago, I worked with them, and then we added the Metro Park system, other parks in there, and things you can do outdoors for adventure to the guide, right? And it was a great success of bringing people a better understanding of what Dayton is really like, right? But they don't have any information in there for dog lovers and dog owners about either traveling to or living in the area. And 37% of people now travel with their dogs or their pets. So the numbers are going up and the accommodations are going to be rising. Marriott's entire fleet of hotel systems just went dog friendly, and they're doing a project with bars. So, that's just another huge, boulder that just tipped over in terms of dog friendliness. So we should have that in Dayton, Ohio. We should have some way of explaining to people what it's like to see Dayton from your dog's eyes, right? So I did it. This is Stout's tour of Dayton, Ohio. Stout is a dog friend of ours here at Wagtown, and Stout was taking these amazing photos around the Dayton area. And I thought, this is perfect. Like when we did the dog scavenger hunt, people told me it was like seeing a tour of the city, but through their dog's eyes. And so I love that idea of what would your dog feel about the community? And so including something like that. So Stout has been busily taking these photos. Check this out in nature, meeting people at the pub. I mean, it's just the cutest thing. And the photos are great. And so what I'm going to do is I created 8 of these books, and I'm going to send them to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, to the Coalition for Development of the Region, anyone who's a driver and an influencer in establishing the brand of what Dayton is, because we're trying to become like this most dog friendly city in Ohio. If we want to do that, we need information that shares with people. Yay, these are all the cool things that you can do in Dayton. Your dog will love to live here. This is a great place to live if you have a dog, if you love dogs, or you want to be in an environment where it is dog friendly, which I can guarantee you and I can show you that it is a better environment for multiple reasons. So I'm very excited about that. So if you can help, if you go to wagtown.org, the splash page there, you can click in and you can see the dog friendliness solution. Okay. So we've got that in there. In addition, we've got this book for Stout. So I would love to get your signature on the petition there. You just click in and you just say, yes, I agree. We ought to have this in our materials to talk about it, what our community represents. And then I'll put those all together and present those in a way that we can make our best case. So I'll keep reaching out to you so that we can amass a good number of letters, letting people know like what it is that's important to you living with your dog here, or if you have someone who's coming into town, someone who's coming in for business, all of those things, numbers are rising that they have their dog or their pet with them. So good time to up your game and include materials like this. We're more than happy to provide copy and content and photos and everything like that. So I think that this is a move that we can make happen. So, but it's going to take a lot of people to do it and a lot of dog enthusiasm. So I know I can count on you. If you have questions or you want to send a complete letter, send it to me, beth@wagtown.org, and I will make sure that it is included. So, all right, so that's that exciting news. So one more thing here we want to talk about today, and it is very exciting. A few years ago, I was lucky enough to be a judge on Pets Plus magazine, has a contest every year. That's the America's Coolest. All right, in the pet space, what is the most cool thing? The year that I was judging, Bar K won. I don't know if you're familiar with Bar K, but it's this massive multi-million-dollar complex. It's like an indoor dog park / dog or splash pubs, and it's just a totally different dog experience. They do a lot of work with rescues and things like that. It's just, it's a different way of playing with your dog, and it's just sort of made people say, oh, so a dog park could be this, right? So anytime somebody rethinks something, right, it becomes this thing that catches your eye, and it kind of catches fire. So I want to introduce you to this great person, Jessica Cooke, and she won this year the coolest in America of all the competitors. And I will tell you from based on the stuff that I saw when I was judging, there is stiff competition. There is a lot of creativity out there, a lot of just genuine passion for what they're doing, and it shows in what they're doing. And no exception, I want to introduce you to Jessica Cooke so she can talk about her brand, Yuppy Puppy. So Jessica, welcome to Wagtown Wednesday. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me so much. I'm still in shock and completely honored and humbled that I won the title. I know how steep the competition is, and I just feel truly blessed that my mission and my company culture shined through, and we won that title. And I'm just over the moon.
Nice, nice. You mentioned your mission. So what is that?
So our mission from day one has always been, when I started in 2003, was would my dog be happy here? What does my dog need? And what does my mom's dog need? My neighbor, my sister. So they're all different. And I wanted to create a place where every single dog's needs, we could provide that for them. So if they needed a quieter place, you name it. If they, no matter what service, just for instance, if grooming, if my pug needed me to be there when the groomer was doing his nails because that helped him get through it, let's do that. If a nurse is boarding their dog and their schedule, they're normally going potty at 3 a.m, let's do that. So we really take the holistic approach to whatever helps that dog or animal thrive in our care. That's what we try to do.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that in the article about the 3 o'clock in the morning thing. And I thought, this is a person that's like, they know when my dog goes to the bathroom and they're willing to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning, just so the dog feels comfortable. They're already away from their human. And I love the way that you guys put yourself in the dog's shoes. That's something we're trying to consistently get people to do more, because they can't talk for themselves in English anyway, or, human language. So until that happens, we're reliant on some communication skills from specialists and things like that. But really the commitment to making it a different experience is what I think makes it click so much. And you mentioned 2003. So here's an example for people. Obviously, you started off as an entrepreneur wanting to create something, and here we are at 2021, and you are now the coolest in America, right? So this is a lesson for all you entrepreneurs out there who want to get into the pet space. You have to stick with it. You have to be creative, but you have to really believe in what you're doing, because look what she just did. She leapt, she figured it out, she was agile, she really specified to her crew and her mission that she wanted to connect people and the animals with a totally different kind of care. And now she's being recognized for it. So I just think congratulations to you, like big time, because this is national. This is like all across the United States. Your stuff was judged to be the best. So I have some pictures that I saw. Can you walk us through a little bit of kind of the virtual, like the store experience, or the spa experience rather?
Yeah, sure. So from the minute you pull up, you would think you're pulling up possibly at somebody's home. It's a very double or wide porch. We have benches purposely set up. If somebody needs to take a minute with their dog, we need to greet them outside. So from the minute you pull up, it's very like a home environment.
I
And
love
then
that you're like, well, we put a bench there, where normally people would be like, that looks cool, and put a pumpkin on it, and we're all set, right? And your bench is there to help alleviate and try to remove fear or
yes,
uncertainty. I love that. It's like, it's not just a piece of furniture, it's a tool
right.
to help the dogs. That's just, yeah,
Absolutely.
amazing.
Everything has that kind of hidden meaning. And then we also have a separate gated entrance that's double fenced in case we need to do even more outside, get them inside a separate entrance. So it looks aesthetically pleasing, but it all has a purpose as well.
I love it.
And then when you walk in, it's like a hotel lobby. So very boutique feel. Everything from the scent and the colors, very welcoming, inviting, even from not only for it's important that the human attached to the leash feels that that comfort, because then what happens when they feel comfortable, the dog feels comfortable. So and then also from their level, the dog's level as well, we make sure, you know, everything from their level, everything is aesthetically pleasing and comfortable, and we try to follow as much of the fear-free guideline between like all the colors and the scents and the treats to get them to come back, and just giving them that space. It's when they come in, if they're hesitant, or most of them run in because we've done such a good job of
like, we're here again.
of doing that. But if they're shy, they need a minute, whether the mom, the dad's hesitant, there's no rush. We take as long as we need. We answer as many questions. We have an open door policy. So no tour times. You can come by any time that we're open, come on through. And if we're in the middle of feeding or doing some activities, we just, I feel like it's important that there's no smoke and mirrors, where you're going to come right on in the tour during all the operations happening. So just that whole welcoming environment.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's interesting how so many people think that a store experience starts when you walk in the door, and in some instances when you get to the purchase area, the point of sale. And it sounds like you get that, where it's from the minute you pull into the parking lot. You know, even before you have that, there's sort of this welcome mat for you. You kind of know what to do, and it looks like a place that cares. And the fact that you're coming out to them instead of bringing them in immediately to an unfamiliar, not their territory, you know, weird smells, all that kind of stuff, giving them a moment. And then I love the fact that you allow them time to gauge the experience based on their owner's reaction. Have you seen that happening a lot, where the dog is kind of not sure about it, and the person is either also not so sure about it and also seeing the other side of that?
Yeah. Of course, especially so the little ones always, right? So Chihuahua, tiny dog comes in like this, and the mom she's so scared, and we just kind of talk, and we tell her, you know, we welcome to Yuppy Puppy. We talk about the services, and you start to see the arms kind of relax. The dog starts to relax. And then we ask, you know, just go ahead and put them down for a little bit. Because what happens when we try to take them again, it's like, you know, don't take them. And so we're always looking at body language from the client and the pet perspective to just make sure that it's a good experience all around. We love when the owners are like, they're not gonna go with you. And we're like, okay, we kind of talk them through steps while we're telling them about our services.
I love it. I love it. That guiding people through the path of the experience of what you have. And I was reading through the fact that you guys also are really adept at creating experiences for dogs, whether it be celebration or for the holidays or whatnot. Can you get into a little bit of that? I don't want to, you don't need to go through your whole product line, but I know you probably have some really cool, like your top favorite picks of things that you can suggest to people.
Absolutely. So we're all about having new fun experiences, and it's really important for the dogs to also, you know, switch up and have new fun experiences with us as well. My favorite that will be coming up, we usually do it like Thanksgiving time, is we spin it to the clients like, do you want to hide all those Amazon boxes that you've ordered from your husband? And we have them bring all the boxes, and we do a sensory game in our camp. So the dogs are running through boxes, making tunnels, jumping on boxes.
Wow.
And so inexpensive. That's things you can do at home too.
I'm totally stealing that idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many Amazon boxes there are in our foyer. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, you can have a field day in there.
Really, one of my other favorite things is goat milk pumpkin spice lattes. This is a tiny little bit, very easy to make, great for the gut. Goat milk and just canned pumpkin or fresh pumpkin too, and just a little taste. The dogs get something, and that's easy to do at home. We do another thing that we started doing thanks to COVID, and now we realize how beneficial and actually better it is. So we always did this trunk or treat, and we would, you know, do the we at times felt like we were corralling people, or, no flexi, here's this flexi distance, and so we started doing a drive-through trunk or treat. And that allows the dogs and the clients, the owners, to enjoy themselves, to have a little bit more fun, and us too, because the animals are contained, but we drive through really slowly. We were able to pass things out. They're able to stay in their costume. It's just a much more fun. So that's something that we'll just continue to stick with, because it was very fun, and they can just make a couple laps. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how, as awful as this whole COVID situation has been and continues to be, it has elicited so many really cool ideas, a lot of things that we thought we just couldn't do that we actually could. We just didn't want to, didn't have to. And now I think this is it's said, okay, here you're going to be challenged like you have never been challenged before. And I've seen the grooming industry just completely, groomers are just not, veterinary grooming, so many pet industry professionals are they just don't have enough, they just don't. And I think that's an important thing for people to remember, is that it's not just about drop your dog off and I'll be back in 3 hours kind of thing with you. It's, introduce me to your dog. I think that's just a totally different approach of becoming friends with the dog and establishing trust a little bit, which I think you can do somewhat with your demeanor and your body language when you're meeting a dog, but that's different from touching their feet and getting in their ears and, around there. It's just, there are too many spaces that dogs are not used to a stranger being, right? So, knowing that they could actually meet you guys, and then they come in, and I think did I see a chandelier in there somewhere?
Oh yeah, we have lots of lots of chandeliers. It's, who doesn't feel comfortable in a lobby with a chandelier? It's dusted daily. It's lots of dog hair constantly. But yeah, so a lot of the aesthetics that you see, we have the epoxy floor, we have all the wipeable paint and the stainless steel, but by adding those fun also touches that kind of just give us that warm fuzzy feeling, goes a long way.
Yeah. Oh, it certainly does. It just feels like a boutique when you walk in the door. I mean, I feel like I'm there. I walk in to get a facial or something, like a human service. Like it doesn't really have that sort of pet feel. I don't know how to describe that, but you walk, when you go into a pet location or service, you generally know you walked into a pet space, whereas yours, we're just talking, I think that Wolfgang Bakery, if anybody can look that one up, it's this boutique treats and things, and they're all over the place now, and it's just really a lot of attention to detail in terms of the experience of being in there, in addition to these beautiful things you can get for your dog. But I think you seem to be that you're like the spa version of that. Like, you've gone above and beyond on merchandising, you've gone above and beyond on service, you've gone above and beyond on the relationship with your customers. And it seems to me like that would have been a real asset to you during COVID. Did you see a dip with people, or did they kind of keep up with grooming and boarding and help and training and things like that?
Well, we kind of giggle around Yuppy Puppy now and say that grooming, we're pretty sure we could survive a zombie apocalypse, because we had a waiting list. Still, nothing changed with our grooming. Our elderly clients, of course, missed some of their appointments. So we have what's called our VIP reoccurring appointments. So most of our clients are on a once a month reoccurring appointment, because we book like a true hair salon. So each stylist, we call them, has their own book. So we know if one girl has a Newfoundland, she's going to have a Shih Tzu, a Yorkie, if she has a Doodle. So we're only able to take so many according to each girl's books, because we book like a personal hair salon. But during COVID, because of some of our amenities that we had already had outside with the double fencing, we were able to greet clients outside, have them place their dog in a yard. Then we would say, good to see you, and then we'd go in and grab them out and put them back in and do payments over the phone. So it was a lot of transitioning, but we were able to make that work, and everybody was so supportive.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, when you think about it, you're like the last person I would be upset with about having a grooming, lack of availability, because I've already established a relationship with you, and
Yeah.
you've shown me that you care about my dog. And I guess I always thought, well, when I had a cocker, I groomed her myself because someone who was a groomer showed me how, and I wasn't grooming other dogs, just I learned specifically how to do my particular dog. But it's so much more difficult and intricate than people realize, and
Mhm.
it requires so much like a special touch. Like people either
Mhm.
have it or they don't with dogs, and the
Yeah.
ability to stay in control and be alpha in that situation so that the dog stays safe, but then also at making it as enjoyable as possible. And when you think about it, like, I've always been one of these people that, like, when I go get my hair cut, I call and I'm like, hey, this is square one. This is the best place I can think of. I've been coming there for years, but everyone there is so good that a lot of times I'm like, I don't care who it is, and I needed to get it done Wednesday, who's available, because it's
Yeah.
like, but now I've gravitated finally after all these years. I have a person, Adam, that I prefer, and now I've let like a month and a half wait, right, to get in there. And so, but it's because I've established this rapport, and we've been working with each other for a number of years. And so it sounds like, I know from the article that I read, you also have a really high retention rate for your customers and for your staff, which is
Yeah.
amazing in any industry. So what was your secret recipe for them? Like, is there some kind of experience or training that you do to make people so happy that they're staying like that?
Well, for clients, we make a huge deal, especially a puppy. So a puppy's so important. You're putting in the time and foundation to make that puppy feel comfortable, no matter what the service in our location. So
Hmm.
um, we generally care. We want them to the next couple times. We want them to run in when they're 10 years old. So those foundations are so important the first couple times.
Hmm.
And talking with the clients, sometimes if they, for instance, they bring a doodle to us at 4 months old, 5 months old, it's never been there, and they're like, I want them shaved down. And we'll say, well, we could or we can't. Let's see what, I'm just going to use Bailey. Let's see what Bailey is going to, how Bailey feels today. If Bailey's fine and the noises and the new adventures are fun and exciting and we can get this done,
Uh-huh.
or if it's going to take a couple times to make them feel comfortable, we don't want to rush the procedure. So just by
Wow.
having that open dialogue with the clients, and the dog, and then they see the difference, that creates a lifetime of relationships, and
Yeah.
then they trust us. We want them to feel comfortable then for when they do overnight stays or daycare or training or grooming. Everything is just, they're coming to see their friends at Yuppy Puppy, and it's just a fun day.
Yeah.
um, and as far as the staff goes, so kind of, along with wanting to create a pet facility where I would want to bring my dogs, I also was kind of working at a place that struggled with work-life balance, and kind of got burned, and I knew I wanted to go and do my own thing. And so that has always stuck with me. We employ so many mothers or single mothers or people that are going through things, but they're animal lovers. And so by really working with everybody's schedule, so if it's important for, let's just say, Liz to get her daughter on the bus at 9, she's going to come in at 10. That's fine. If it's important for Nikki to get her child off the bus at 4, then she's going to come in at 7. So it's all about kind of, I know when they're going to give me their all, I will give them my
Hmm.
all. And
Yeah.
we just, yeah.
Wow. So you're like a 24-hour place. I mean, it's
Yes.
not like you
Yeah.
guys go home and the lights are out and there's a webcam, right? It's
Oh
just
no. Yes.
it's a
Yeah.
completely, yeah. I mean, I think that we're seeing that shift of things, people being a little more concerned. We were going through the sort of the dog parent kind of mindset, and there's, you either own a dog, your dog is your family, your dog is your child, or your dog is your soulmate. Is like the four categories of people.
Yeah.
And we're all crazy about dogs in different ways
Oh
and
yeah.
different wonderful ways. And I like the fact that you did that. Now, if I wanted to start working with you, and I know that my dog, let's say that I was using a groomer that traumatized the dog, and now it's a little apprehensive about going into a place with same smells and same sounds, and like, to your point, all that sensory stuff. Is it something where I could like bring my dog without, and like, would I make an appointment and say, I'm coming in, but I don't think my dog's ready for prime time. Can we just have like a meet and greet? Like, okay, that was good enough for today. We'll come back in a few days and then actually go in the door, and that, that kind of thing. Is that possible to do something like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. And I hate the word traumatize. And I never judge from other people either, because sometimes people just don't know. Sometimes the genetics with the dogs, sometimes just, you know, just different things, not kind of all aligning there. So when the client and the dog comes into Yuppy Puppy, we like to hear the background, but we also take it with a grain of salt and just kind of assess in the moment, because dogs live in the moment. And let's evaluate how they're feeling right then. And yes, all the time. I actually love to do that, because when clients are like, my dog has never been able to get groomed anywhere else, or, whatever, or they'll say, my dog's been coming here, but it's also been going somewhere else and we weren't able to do something now. And I'll say, well, come on back. Let me show you what's happening.
Yeah.
and a lot of times you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And I'm saying, I don't know. Did you do something different at home? Or, well, yeah, I was washing her in the shower with cold water and Pantene now. She used to love her baths here, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So we're going to have to backtrack and, just have that conversation with them. So we love to involve pet parents as much as possible, just to help them educate. Because when we see them for services, they're a big part of, they need to carry on those things at home too. It's just like our training clients, like we can put in all the manners, but you got to do the homework as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. A colleague of mine that I met recently is specializing in only doodle care, because of the fact that most people who own a doodle think that you don't have to groom it, that it's just naturally good and curly, and not realizing that underneath the curliness is a solid mat sometimes. And so she's specifically just, let me help you between groomings, keep your dog so that when they come to the groomer, that they don't have to say, you know what, there's no way we can't not shave the dog, especially in certain areas, or it's just, it's
that's
just
amazing. Yeah, my groomers would all appreciate that.
I just think that, people love the fact that you're being successful with this, because you're prioritizing dogs, which, all four categories of those dog mom or dog dad people. But I think I also saw in here that you actually now have a second location, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me about that. How did you make that leap? Like, were you terrified? I would be just like, oh my gosh, is this really going to happen?
I know. Yes and no. And so Yuppy Puppy, we're next door to the pet doctor, which is a veterinarian, which in 2003, 18 years ago, it was so funny when we were in our little rental. She was moving in, I was moving in. I'm like, what are you? And she's like, I'm a veterinarian. I'm like, I'm a groomer. And so that's literally how everything has started. And then since then, we've just worked such side by side, and I incorporate so much of the vet services into Yuppy Puppy, what we do.
Oh, I love it.
And that's why we're able we board a ton of diabetic dogs, thyroid, you name it, dogs that traditionally probably would have a hard time boarding at a boarding kennel, or need an in-home pet sitter, are able to board at Yuppy Puppy because the connection that we have with the pet
There's
doctor.
a vet next door, right?
Yeah.
That's insanely awesome. That's insane.
And so
I love it.
We've been full constantly year round before COVID hit, since like 2017. It was really hard to get new clients in. And so there was a need, and the only way to grow was Yuppy Puppy is so important to keep that small boutique. I always want every staff member to know, if we have 5 Bellas in the building, everybody knows which Bella they are talking about. So if we were going to grow, we needed to do another boutique location versus add a wing on, add 50 more dogs, whatever. That was really important to me. So our location is only 15 minutes away. So we do a lot of crossover. If this location's full, that location's full. We've been open since June, and we're already at capacity. So it's been fantastic.
Congratulations. See, you're number one over and over again. I love that. I love that. So when you have all this success and all of this positivity and now obviously this amazing recognition, what's next for you?
So I'd like to say take a nap, but I feel like
Yep.
I'm I feel like I'm just getting started. The busier I am, the more productive I am. The more that I have on my plate, I feel like I can accomplish more. So rescue is near and dear to my heart. We really, in 2018, I became a nonprofit rescue to Yuppy Puppies Forever, because there was so many of our clients at that time. We had been open for 15, 16 years, and elderly clients were either passing away, or so many family members were bringing in the dogs and saying, my mom passed away. She always had fond memories of this place. Would you help me find her a home or him a home? And of course. And one year it was over 40. And I'm like, I'm unintentionally a rescue group, and
Yeah.
I need to do this. And so
Good for
now to
you.
date,
40 dogs were placed through a business that wasn't even set up to do that. That's
yeah,
impressive.
we just
That's
networked with
impressive.
other clients, and we were like, this, oh, I've known her for years. So to date, we're over 700 dogs that we have successfully adopted out.
No
And
way.
yeah. And so my goal is to open a Yuppy Puppy, but just for rescues. So the same amenities, all the rescues are going to get treated like a home environment. Also have an education center to stop the cycle, because here in Missouri, we're number one, 8 years in a row for puppy mill. And
Yep.
so I really do, during my meet and greet process, we really stress on, you're adopting a dog for a lifetime, not a season. And we provide 50% off training when you adopt a dog, because they're the transition period, they are going to come and do some things. So we
Good for
really want
you.
to tell people, you can work and have a dog, you can have a high energy dog, you can have all these things without giving up. So that's my next mission, is to have a rescue place
Oh my
solely
gosh.
for them.
That's going to be amazing. I wrote it's a book called Tucker Finds His Forever Home. And it talks about breed discrimination and being abandoned, and the journey that they take from abandonment to finding a forever home, hopefully. And I think people think, well, they go to the pound and then they stay there, and then eventually they're either euthanized or adopted. But they don't talk about the arc of what would it be like for you if you were yanked out of what you know and thrown into a kennel that you don't know. It would be terrifying, and you'd be afraid, and you'd feel, I don't know. I think yourself, I'm obviously personifying dogs, but if it was me and I was a dog, and everybody kept walking by me and just being like, oh, that's a mean dog, or we don't want one of those kind of reaction. And, as with grooming, dogs pick up on that, and
Oh yeah.
they kind of know. So I love the
Yeah.
fact that you're going to be talking with people and like welcoming dogs that really need more than most people are providing to them, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing that you're doing. And when I saw that you were doing this in Missouri, I loved that, because that's the key. That's like dog friendliness happens where you have welcoming amenities and it's safer and healthier and that kind of, all of those great things, but it's also having resources like yours in a community and having that be someplace that you say, would you like to live there? I don't know. What is there for my dog? Well, number one store in the whole United States is doing something amazing, helping dogs, is empathetic in her approach. That's what's here. To me, that would be another like checkbox of, yes, I want to live there. And to your point, the puppy mill situation is there. It's consistently a problem. But if there are more and more and more and more people like you, Jessica, there will be less and less and less and less and less of the puppy mills. So we all need to be more Jessica, right? That's how I see it.
Yes. Adopt more
I
dogs.
do.
Yeah.
That's right. And I mean, there are so many different ways to own a dog and to get a dog and to love a dog. And, so I'm one of those people that's like, I love when people rescue and foster and find homes for dogs. And some people, that's the perfect route for them. Some people it's not. And so, everybody's journey is different with their dog, and finding that right fit for your lifestyle and things like that. And then having a resource like you, because you work with so many different breeds, they could come in and say, oh, I'm having this issue. And you'd be like, well, of course it's digging, it's a terrier, or of course, it's howling, it's a beagle, right? So there are certain things that some breeds are just known for. And so helping them understand their breed at the same time that they're helping you understand their dog by explaining to you, this, that, and the other thing. And as a groomer, that a lot of times some of those behaviors go away when they're not around their parent, so to speak, right? Like they're that way around them, but then they're good at school, right? That kind of thing.
Yes.
And it sounds like you are really in tune with that. So I think the combination of the aesthetics of what you're doing, the care that you have, the fact that you're integrating a nonprofit into that really strikes a chord with who you're working with. The fact that you're partnering with veterinary care so that if there's an immediate issue, you've got this existing relationship and you can take a look at it, a wide array of options for people. I just think they really did a good job in picking you as number one.
Thank
I
you
really do.
so much.
I
Thank
do.
you.
Yeah, because every dog that comes in there, whether they have been coming there for 8 years and they love you and they're like the dog that runs in, that dog probably didn't run in the first time, right? They got to know you, right? So all of those dogs, you changed their lives.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
You really did. You changed their lives. And now you're going to start thinking about the possibility of how you can change more dogs' lives, dogs that really need it, that don't have a home, that need some kind of you're okay moment. And you provide that. I think that's super inspiring, super inspiring.
Thank
And
you.
I hope that people look at what you've done and they're like, let's put dogs, whatever, animals first in terms of, are we helping? Are we creating fear? Are we creating love? Are we creating care? Versus what the other options are of just sort of like, in and out kind of mentality, which we're somewhat used to. But I think people are gravitating more back into a boutique experience of people who really understand your animal or really understand what you're looking for. Because I know, when it comes to a groomer, if you find a good groomer, you're with them for a long time, right? So
Yeah.
like you're a stylist, like they know my cut, right? And so it's the same
Yeah.
thing, but you have injected so much humanity and charity and professionalism. Plus, you're a badass, businesswoman. Sorry for saying ass, everybody, but that's what you are. You even got the Rosie the Riveter situation going on there. Seriously, you are crushing this. So anyway, well, I'll let you go. I wanted to introduce you to people, but I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about it because I know you've had a long journey of this. People think that it's an overnight success kind of thing, but it's not. And you have done the work, you have put your heart and soul into it, and it shows, and you are making a difference. So everybody that's watching, take a look at Jessica and what she's doing. And whether you're opening an amazing place like this, or just creating maybe a fear-free spa level experience at your home for your dog, there are some ways that you can kind of do those calming things. So I encourage you to check out what she's doing. When I post this, she's going to go ahead and put any comments. If you have questions about what she's doing or anything else about this, please go ahead and put them in the comments. I know some people DM me messages, so I'll get that back to Jessica if you do, and we'll kind of take it from there. So Jessica, do you have any last words that you want people to remember as we sign off?
I would just say, do what you can when you can, and that's all you can do, and be kind. And that's how I try to live my life.
Wow. Well, that applies to, life.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of person that I want taking care of my dog, honestly. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah. So this is 52 weeks of making a difference. And here's another person who makes a difference in lots of dogs' lives, even the dogs that aren't, under her umbrella, which how many dogs did you say you have?
I have 5 personally.
Yeah. What kind? I should have asked that first.
I have 2 pit bulls, 2 Frenchies, and a Cane Corso.
Oh my gosh. Can I come over and play with your dogs?
I know. And then I consider all my rescues mine until they're on their way to happily ever after. So
Right. We're fostering a service dog puppy in training, and oh my gosh, he's about a month away from we're losing him to hopefully, really change some child's life or something.
Yes, they're amazing.
It's really heartwarming, but it's going to be just heartbreaking. So
yes,
I hear what you're saying about connecting with those dogs. So, all right, well, I will let you go, and thank you for joining me for this. This was fantastic to talk to you, and I wish you
so
every
much.
success with this. And please stay in touch with me about what you're doing with the shelter and all those other projects with those dogs, because I'd like to, keep up with what you're doing because it's exciting. It's exciting.
Absolutely.
It should be replicated.
Thank you. Yeah. And I would love, can I purchase the book that for the pit bull?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would love to, because I do
absolutely.
some Girl Scout badges too, and I always have prizes, and so I would love
Aw.
to have those as the prizes for them.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you some because that's part of the reason well, I'll send you, there's also a curriculum that I wrote for this. It's K1, can be used K through 4. And it's all national standards education material. So it's like a teacher could use it for a full week. So if you're doing outreach for kids, it talks about reading dog body language and it talks about being safe around dogs.
Ah,
And some dogs
yes.
have jobs and what spots look like, what long ears look like, kind of
Oh,
getting them
that's perfect.
acclimated. And there's a section about breed discrimination and pit bull, helping them understand and hopefully taking those conversations home with them, which these days is home, but that we want that
Right.
information to get transferred. So yeah, I would love to do that. We're hoping that people use them not only as, stories that they get for themselves or their children, but also using those for education and outreach to help people better understand. Because I think we're getting there. I think we're
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
So we just need to keep
That's
trucking.
awesome. Yeah, I do. I have a Girl Scout badge coming up. There's like 6 Girl Scouts, but I always like the parents are getting a lot of the knowledge too. You see them like, oh, didn't know.
Right, right. I want the kids to say, so if it's 10 degrees out and it's too cold to go outside for me and I absolutely can't go out, then why is the dog tied to the deck?
Right. Yep.
Right? I want that question to be asked because, when my son was younger, he would bring home all this stuff about recycling, right? And it wasn't a big thing back then. And so it got to be this thing that he's like, well, aren't you supposed to put it in this basket instead of that basket? Right, mom? And you're like, oh, yes, absolutely. Right. So our kids basically transformed us into these earth friendlier people, right? So I think
That's
with
true.
in your case it's happening, and seeping into the dog world. So I
Yes.
think that that's absolutely possible. So I will send you that material. Stay in touch with us on what you're doing, and everybody who's watching, be inspired because Jessica, as you can see, is very inspiring. So thank you, Jessica, for joining us for Wagtown Wednesday, and everybody else, keep wagging and keep making a difference. Bye bye.
Bye.